Hello, sensual predators, and welcome to the Botanical Biohacking Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about coffee enemas because that's what happens when people get A, bored, and B, desperate for anything that might work. So, you guys, what is your experience with coffee enemas?
I don't know. Gwyneth Paltrow seems to like it.
Well, she also likes Brad Pitt and
Jade eggs.
Jade eggs. That's right. She's been
Up the vajayjay.
Doesn't she?
JJ. She's laying eggs right, left, and center.
Doesn't she sell
Jade
candles
ones.
that were soaked in her vaginal juices or something like that?
What?
No, yeah, that's a thing.
No.
That's a thing. She makes scented candles that smell
No.
like her vagina. Yeah, I mean, this is,
That's some serious aromatherapy.
Kidding me.
if we want to talk about medicine, that's called narcissism. That's what that is. And
Yeah.
maybe she's very fragrant. I don't know. Right? No, but it was bad enough that she was the goose that was laying the jade eggs.
Yeah.
Which
I think she
again,
got reprimanded for that. I'm pretty sure. Like,
why? Because she was saying it was an ancient Chinese secret, and everyone in China is like, "What the?"
Well, I don't know. Now she's saying, like, I think now coffee enemas are like the it thing at the moment. There's like a company called the Happy Bum Co.
Okay.
Plug, but don't.
that would be a butt plug right there.
Happy butt plug.
I don't
Are
know
they
if that
sponsoring this episode?
They should be.
I don't know. They should be.
But it's weird. Coffee is one of the largest, most used commodities in the world. People drink loads of coffee. Just throwing it out there, but if it was a cure-all, I think we would have noticed by now. I mean, maybe the world wouldn't be so screwy if coffee was going to fix everything. But maybe it works differently when you pour a pitcher of it up your backside.
I mean,
People
we're
use it for
things on-
constipation, right?
Okay,
the
that's
thing is-
legit. Sure.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Any
if you
enema
drink
is gonna work.
it, if you just drink it,
Right.
it will help with the constipation.
Right.
That's we know this, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's no, it's not.
Because it's bitter, right? So anything bitter is going to, first of all, cause cardiac contractility. Or I shouldn't say anything bitter, but most bitter plants will do that. And then it has a purging effect. So if you take enough danshen, it will have a similar effect. If you take any bitter herb that has that effect. I'm curious, if you can do that. Or I know in parts of Europe, they'll just take a shot or two of olive oil. And that
Danshen
lubricates.
is salvia, just so everyone knows.
There you go. Thank you for the translation.
Yeah.
But yeah, olive oil seems to work just fine to lubricate the intestines, get things going. I can see for somebody who's got megacolon, like nothing's working, that enemas may be more appropriate. And there is a tradition of using enemas in Chinese medicine, but it's for very specific problems in the colon. So
what are people using the coffee enema for? Is it kind of like a cure-all detox treatment, or is it
toxins?
Right.
Yeah.
So there's been a pretty old study on it, stating that it helps elevate glutathione levels. But the study is from like 1990 or something. And then recently there was another study which was done by, I think it was Joseon. It's a Korean university, and it was a systematic review, and it's basically saying there's no evidence for it. So they're saying that more needs to be done. So if we just bring it up, it just says that the interest in its detoxification it has increased because it started off as a naturopathic kind of protocol, like in like the 1930s or something.
Okay. Like when Dr. Kellogg was like, "You're masturbating too much. Eat some cornflakes."
Well, it's a Gerson. It was part of the Gerson therapy. The Gerson.
They're into the juicing business, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like those are didn't they got run out of the US for killing people, so they set up shop in Tijuana?
Yeah, and there was the wellness warrior, and she was doing Gerson, and she was saying that she, helped, like it helped. It's a very, very tragic story because she truly believed in it. But she was the influencer, like one of those wellness influencers. And she had terminal cancer. And then she was doing the Gerson therapy, the juicing and the enemas and all of that kind of stuff. And then she died.
Yeah. Well,
And then
gotta
it got
look at. Go ahead.
No, not. Don't think it's more than the fact that it sounds very, very insensitive, but that's what happened. So
She doesn't sound like a great wellness advocate if she's like doing all this stuff and then died.
So that's the thing. When we have a lack of science, we have to lean on tradition. But when it's bullshit somebody just made up, there's none of that either. Unless somebody, they die early, like Atkins, he died young, relatively young compared to everybody else. So maybe that's a cautionary tale. And you got to look at like, okay, how is a coffee enema making people feel amazing? Well, I don't know. You're dumping coffee right into their colon. So coffee already makes you feel chipper. Of course, people are going to be like, it's all the toxins that are gone. I feel amazing. It's like giving somebody a glucose IV drip. Of course, they're going to feel like that. You watch people and they're really messed up and they perk right up. Same thing happens when you eat a bunch of donuts. But that feeling of, oh, I'm feeling really good doesn't mean it's good for you. And people, what they really rely on is they'll be like, your body. Do you feel chipper now? Oh, that means it's good. First of all, this is an idea in natural health, like nobody knows your body as well as you do. Really? There are a lot of people with undiagnosed cancer and then they get the cancer diagnosis. Did they know their body? No, and they died because of it. Chances are you don't know your body that well. So I just want to throw that out there. That's a total BS way that's really good for selling people stuff they don't need. It's like, oh, do you like this donut? Do you like cocaine? Yeah, your body.
It's interesting that they're using coffee for this enema and not, other bitter things, other stimulants like coca leaf or, donuts aren't bitter, but if you feel great from a bunch of glucose, like why not try suppositories? Why not try cocaine up the butt? What?
I think it's just pretty fast, right? Like, in the same way that if you drink coffee, you're going to poop.
Yeah.
And then if you stick coffee up your butt, squirt coffee up your butt, you're going to poop straight away.
That's why people do wine enemas too, and then they don't vomit.
Oh, yes. Oh. What's that called? A tour de Francia.
No, but like, look, enemas are not, they've been around for centuries, right?
Yeah, so that definitely gets a traditional claim.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
So it's been around, and in China and Egypt and, I think France, they did it pretty regularly. Particularly after a meal, they'll go and do an enema. So it's not.
I think that's just a bidet.
Oh.
That's just what they use instead of toilet paper.
Yeah, I don't think that was.
No, I'm pretty sure they did it.
Really?
They do
it's a wine and cheese diet. I don't know.
It probably.
I'll have to ask some French people about. I'm not. Well, let's fact check that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I've just never heard of it.
You're looking pretty French
today. That's right.
And
I'm just saying, like, how do you know our white people's secrets?
How do I know?
Yeah.
Because I'm on the other side. I'm like.
Okay. All right. That's why you're investigating.
She reads Goop.
Okay.
I don't read Goop. It just comes to me through my patients, and they're like, "What do you think about this?" And I'm like, "What is there to think about this?"
Hey,
we can definitely have a look at that right now. So
okay.
Coffee.
So we're going to use a 5-star rating system, and it's based on this. For every 50 years of consecutive use, it earns 1 star. So if a formula or a herb has been used for, 250 years, it's going to be getting 5 stars. But if it's something that somebody just used, maybe Hammurabi used it, and then some guy in the 1930s tried it, and those aren't consecutive 50 years, it still could be nonsense. So we look from a traditional aspect. We want to see how many stars it gets, and then we want to look from a scientific perspective and see what kind of data is available to support some of the claims that are made about natural health products. So as Bree looks, what have you found, Bree?
Risk of adverse effects, which include infection, obviously, because you're sticking something up your rectum, seizures, heart and lung problems, and obviously death. Experienced a renaissance in the 1990s, and it was used as an alternative cancer treatment.
Okay, wait. So experienced a renaissance, that means that it hasn't been used consecutively during this time.
No. So that's why I wanted to stop you.
Okay, all right.
It wasn't even in living memory when they brought it back.
And then
like it was used, died out, and then somebody goes, "Oh, this is fun. Let's try it with our people."
Exactly. And
Okay.
so the frequent use, which is featured in the Gerson and the Kelly therapies. Um, and then in 2018, our good friend Gwyneth Paltrow,
Oh, Jesus
for her
Christ.
company Goop, started promoting the coffee enema kits, and then a number of questionable, and then one of a number of questionable medical products, which it has since sold on the company Goop.
Okay, so do we even get 50 years of consecutive use based on this? What
Doesn't
about
look
from
like it.
from 1900s to 1930? Then it dies out. Then 1990, a little bit of use, and now we're at 2020. So what about from 1990 to 2020? They're still not getting to the 50. No, I award you no stars, Coffee Enema. No stars on tradition. How about science? Do we have any clinical trials of over 20 people, over 50 people?
I've got it up, so let me pull that up right now.
Coffee enemas?
Look,
No stars on tradition.
there's definitely scientific research on it, but I'm not
Okay.
sure about the rigor. So
Well, okay. Natural health. We're going to look at it making it into a peer-reviewed journal, scientific journal that has over 50 people in it for it to get 4 stars. In order for it to get 5 stars, it needs to be a systematic review. If there is pharmacology or animal tests in vitro, then we're looking at 2 stars. If there's a plausible mechanism of action based on its claim, we're going with 1 star. So what do you see there with the Google Scholar?
okay, so quality of paper. So this is a what is this? This is a CIS review, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
Majority of papers were review studies or case reports for effects and side effects for coffee enema. Quality of papers were generally poor. No RCTs, which is a randomized controlled clinical trial, exists.
Okay. Well, because it would be hard to fake that, right?
Yeah, this study shows that the current status of the coffee enema related study and suggests that the demand for it is needed to demand for the study is needed
Yeah,
to
so more
develop evidence
research.
base. Yeah.
So they're saying that okay, so it's basically there's not enough evidence to even be doing this systematic review. What about, so there aren't any randomized controlled trials?
When comparable content of caffeine was administered, um, I don't know, the Cmax and the AUC of coffee obtained from the coffee enema were about 3.5 times significantly less than those of the coffee consumed orally, despite having slightly but statistically faster Tmax. In addition, a single administration of the coffee enema or the oral coffee consumption did not adversely affect systolic or diastolic blood pressure and heart rate.
Okay.
So,
So,
That's what they were measuring.
yep.
okay.
Okay, so we know that this is not an effective treatment for high blood pressure.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. And we also know that it's not as effective as taking coffee orally.
Sweet. I'm going to stick to my pour over.
3.5 times more
Okay, so who
of
knew
a
that
Tmax.
drinking coffee was more effective than pouring it up your butt? All right, good talk. Good talk. All right. So we've got 0 stars on tradition, and we have 0 stars on science. Yeah, well, make your own decisions. Let us know in the comments if coffee enemas saved your soul. But personally, I like to go where tradition is strong and science is strong, and these overlap, because that's a really safe area to go forward with. But when something is trendy or a famous celebrity is using it and therefore it seems like a good idea, it's important to look through the lenses of tradition and science, because I had a suspicion the coffee enemas were kind of bullshit, but after looking into it a little deeper, I had no idea how much of a bullshit therapy it was. And that really it's just been kind of pumped up because, you know, Brad Pitt's ex-girlfriend said so. I hope to God that you're not making your life decisions based on that.
Look, some people might really enjoy it. Like they
Hey.
prefer to take it rectally. So, to each their own. But as
Right. I
far as
like
we're
to take baths
concerned,
of meat. I like to just get little, I like to put minnows on my body,
as far as we're concerned, from where we stand, it's a buttload of crap. Right?
Ooh,
So,
boom.
Womp
Yeah.
womp.
So yeah, 0 stars. Let us know in the comments if it's worked for you. Thanks so much for listening to the Botanical Biohacking Podcast. We love you very much. Even Bree and Brehan, they both love you.
yeah, even though we're a bit harsh.
But it comes from a place of love. Why? Because if you have a serious condition or you just want to detoxify yourself in a way that's legit and not waste your money doing something that is ultimately going to not help and in fact hurt you, it's our duty to tell you so.